Hi guys, good day to everyone. This video is intended for the discussion of the next part of our research manuscript, which is yung tinatawag natin na scope, delimitation, and limitation of the study. And to start our discussion, allow me to share my screen to everyone. Okay, there you go. So what we have sa ating screen is technically the key components na kailangan nating i-consider kapag nag-start na tayong magawa ng scope, the limitation, and limitation of the study ng ating paper. And before we discuss it one by one, allow me first to give you some important keynotes na kailangan nating tandaan sa paggagawa ng scope, delimitation, and limitation of the study. Technically, itong part ng paper na to minsan ang nagiging saving glory ng mga researchers during their defense. Kasi minsan, hindi natin maiiwasan na yung mga panelists natin is magbibigay sa atin ng mga questions na hindi naman cover na ng ating pag-aaral or hindi na naging part ng ating pag-aaral. And we also aware na may mga pagkakataon din na since hindi naman siya part na ng ating study is hindi tayo knowledgeable sa mga ganung type of questions ng ating mga panelists. And that's why scope delimitation and limitation of the study is very important in our research paper. In case na tayo ay matatanong ng ating mga panelists kung ano ba yung ibig sabihin ng ganitong context, ng ganitong variable, and then it is not part of our study, pwede nating sabihin sa kanila na, Ma'am, sir, with all due respect, we would like to clarify that the scope of our study is only about, and then you mention kung ano lang talaga yung cover ng paper ninyo. So, the bottom line here is that kailangan makompose natin ng maayos yung scope, the limitation, and limitation of the study ng paper natin. And to help you on that particular matter, let's talk about the scope part of our research paper. So technically, sabi dito, the scope is the section of our research paper in which we outline what will be the cover of our study. It includes the topics, variables, populations, and settings na pag-aaralan natin. Okay? And then, this also define the breadth of our research paper. Tingnan natin kung ano yung mga components na kailangan nating ilagay when we compose the scope. So, we have to provide our readers the overview of our study. Technically, it talks about ano ba yung main topic na pag-aaralan natin or ano ba yung main problem na meron tayo sa ating statement of the problem. It is aligned with the general problem that we have mentioned on the statement of the problem that we have, yung nasa pinakaitaas. Then after that, we have to introduce to them yung ating population. No? Sino-sino ba yung mga group na part ng ating study? Kung meron tayong age range, demographics, and some other important details na pwede nating ilagay, regarding our population or regarding our respondents, mas okay yon. Kasi it will help our readers to understand the nature of our participants and respondents. Then after that, we should also mention kung saan natin i-conduct at saan natin kinonduct yung study. No? Ito ba ay sa ganitong lugar, sa ganitong municipality, sa ganitong province, ito ba ay public, ito ba ay private, or whatsoever. Then after that, our readers should be aware as well yung time frame ng pag-aaral natin. Gaano natin katagal ginawa yung ating study. Ito ba ay nag-take ng isang semester, ng isang school year, or ng ilang taon bago natin natapos yung paper natin. And another thing is that yung mga variables na present sa paper natin, no? Technically, ang kailangan ninyong maging pattern sa mga variables na ilalagay dyan is kung ano yung inyong research title. So, tingnan natin itong sample na to. First paragraph is always the scope of the paper. So, nakalagay dito, the scope of this paper focuses on the factors influencing students' engagement with social issues among junior high school students at San Pedro National High School. So it is clear that The researchers were able to provide the general overview about the topic, and ito yung topic nila. Factors influencing the students' engagement with social issues. And then, ano yung population? It will be conducted among, population na tayo, junior high school students, okay? Saan? San Pedro National High School. So it is a public school. And then the study will include students aged from 13 to 17 years old, encompassing various social issues relevant to their community. So nakalagay dyan yung demographics. And then data will be collected, time frame, over the academic year 2024-2025. Paano i-collect yung data? So pwede tayong maglagay dito ng tools natin. The data will be collected using survey and interviews. Okay? Reminder lang, pwede tayong mag-insert ng other information as long as that it will fall under the scope of our paper. And then ano yung mga key variables na kanilang pag-aaralan? It will include social support, peer interaction, and academic concept of the participants of the study. So this is an example. This is a good example of the scope. Later on, magpapakita pa ako sa inyo ng isa pang sample ng scope. Then, ano naman yung delimitation? Pag sinabi naman nating delimitation, ito yung boundaries na isinet natin sa ating research paper. No? Delimitation talks about the boundaries that we set, no, in the conduct of our research paper. Usually, ito ay may kinalaman doon sa mga topic na hindi natin isinama or hindi included sa paper natin. Okay? Pwede tayong maglagay dito ng inclusion criteria at pwede tayong maglagay dito ng exclusion criteria. Pag sinabi natin inclusion, ano yung mga isinama? Pag sinabi natin exclusion, ano yung mga hindi natin isinama? So, tingnan natin itong second paragraph. Second paragraph is for the delimitation of the study, the boundaries, the limitations that you set for the study. Okay? So, tingnan natin. This study will focus exclusively on the perspective of junior high school students. So, ito ay perspective lang ng mga junior high school students. And then, ano yung mga exclusion criteria? Hindi daw kasama dito yung mga data coming from the higher grade levels or other educational institutions. So, exclusion criteria, hindi kasama sa pag-aaral. So, in case sa tanungin ka ng panelist mo, alam natin kung ano lang yung coverage. Then additionally, the research will limit its scope to the social issues only. So, ang focus ay social issues lamang that directly relevant to the students' community, excluding broader or global issues not directly impacting their daily lives. So, in this example, napakalinaw kung ano lamang yung coverage at ano yung hindi coverage ng kanilang pag-aaral. So, the boundaries are clearly stated in this paragraph of their delimitation. Okay? And then last part ng paper natin is yung tinatawag natin na limitation. Pag sinabi naman nating limitation, do not be confused, no? It talks about the weaknesses. Ano yung tingin mong weaknesses ng paper mo or yung mga constraint na meron ka sa paper mo na maaaring makaapekto sa result ng iyong pag-aaral? Most of the time, ang focus ng limitation ay yung mga methodological aspect ng paper natin. Example, the research design, the sampling method, the data collection technique. Kasi di ba doon tayo minsan nagkakaroon ng weaknesses? Halimbawa, kung ang method mo ay qualitative, ang weakness niyan, hindi pwedeng i-generalize ang data. Kasi kapag qualitative, konti lang ang participants, so we cannot generalize the data. Okay? That's it. And then we should also discuss the generalizability. Sorry for that. Generalizability, no? Ng ating paper. Ano yung mga extent lang ng ating findings. And yung mga external factors, such as variables that are connected in our paper that might cause weakness on the present study. Okay, so tingnan natin yung sample dito. The limitation of this study include a potential bias in self-reported data. So maaari daw magkaroon ng bias when it comes to the self-reported data from the students. So yung mga data, yung students daw, maaari silang maibigay na information, meron daw possibility na yung information na ibigay ng mga students ay merong biases kasi magkakaiba naman sila ng perception, which might affect the accuracy of the engagement level. The findings may not be generalizable to the students in other regions. So nakalagay dito, kasi ito ay San Pedro National High School ang nakafocus or other educational aspect since the focus is on San Pedro National High School only. Additionally, external factors such as socioeconomic conditions and varying level parental may influence the student's engagement with social issues, but this variable will not be primarily the focus of the study. So that is their limitation of the paper. Okay po. So technically, ang scope, delimitation, and limitation part ng paper natin is nahati sa tatlong paragraphs. Okay? Nga pala, you may also include on the limitation part of your paper, for example, meron kang output na gagawin at the end of the study. And then this output is not subject for implementation. For recommendation lang siya. Pwede mong sabihin on the limitation part that the output of the paper is not subject for implementation, but rather for recommendation purposes only. That's it. Diba? Ngayon, I still have another example here ng scope, delimitation, and limitation of the study. I took this example from one of the research paper ng ating mga students in college department. So tingnan natin kung paano nila kinompose yung scope, delimitation, and limitation of their paper. So this study aims to explore the challenges faced by the Bachelor of Elementary Education pre-service teachers in designing instructional materials during their field study. So ito yung general objective ng paper. Okay? And then, saan kinundak ang study? Immaculate Conception College of Balayan Incorporated. Anong taon? This is conducted for the school year 2022-2023. And then, ano yung pinaka-main intention? The research will identify the various instructional materials used by the pre-service teachers and examine the specific challenges they encounter while designing these materials. Additionally, the study will investigate the coping strategies employed by the pre-service teachers to address these challenges. And then, this research encompasses both qualitative and quantitative methods, utilizing case study, design, and descriptive design to gather comprehensive data on the experiences of the participants. So kung mapapansin ninyo, medyo iba yung composition ng kanilang scope on the first example that we have. But the bottom line there, even though magkaiba sila ng composition ng sentence, the scope is clearly stated. No? They pattern the content of their scope on the SOP of their paper. And that's fine. That's good. As long as that the scope is clearly discussed and presented. So tingnan naman natin yung delimitation. Ang paper daw ay exclusively nakafocus lamang sa challenges in designing instructional materials na nararanasan ng mga BE at pre-service teachers at ICC. It will not involve additional activities in field study and beyond the parameters of FS2. Furthermore, this research will not assess the level of challenges. Hindi daw nito i-assess ang level of challenges, but rather, yung challenges lang nararanasan nila. Iba kasi yung level at yung challenges. Okay, so sa study na to, inalam lang yung challenges pero hindi inalam yung level of challenges. And then hindi din nila purpose na i-evaluate yung effectiveness ng mga strategies, but rather, malaman lang yung mga strategies na ginamit. And then it is technically limited on the pre-service teachers lamang on that particular year. At yung mga susunod na pre-service teachers na hindi pa pasok sa taon na yun ay hindi na part ng kanilang study kasi it is not a cohort educational program. Okay po? And then for the limitation naman, which is the weaknesses of their paper, nag-focus sila on the methodological aspect of their paper So the respondents are BEd pre-service teachers at ICC for the school year 2022-2023. The methodology being used in the phase 1 is qualitative, gumamit ng purposive sampling para mahanap yung kanilang mga participants at gumamit ng semi-structured for that phase 1. For the quantitative naman, total enumeration ang ginamit na sampling technique. Ibig sabihin lahat ng DED, maliban sa mga researchers, ay naging part ng kanilang study at sila ay nagsagot ng survey questionnaire, which is 4-point Likert scale. And then, yung result ng study, hindi magre-reflect to sa experiences ng mga pre-service teachers from other institution or from other school year. And then, ang qualitative data will be analyzed using thematic at yung quantitative naman will be analyzed using descriptive stat. Okay? And then, the study will be limited when it comes to the insight and experiences of the participant. They cannot generalize the data taken from the respondents of the study. So that's how we composed our scope, the limitation and limitation of the study. To sum it up, pag sabi nating scope, this is the coverage of our study, no? Ano yung mga na-cover natin? It might be focused on the objectives of the study, no? Which is reflected on the statement of the problem that we have. We also have the delimitation, which is the boundaries we set for the conduct of the study, and the limitation, the weaknesses of our paper when it comes to the methodological aspect of our study. So that's it. Thank you so much for listening, my dear researchers. God bless you, everyone.